Okay, so we're doing a drawing today. We're doing a pencil sketch. And it's not anyone specific. Now I'm using two pieces of paper. I don't have a thumbnail in because of the fact that I don't know what my drawing is going to look like until I'm actually done with it. So, so this is one of the problems that comes out of like these networks and legacy media who are like really anal retentive about, oh, you gotta have a thumbnail, you gotta have a thumbnail. It's like, well, for crying out loud, shut the hell up, because I don't have a thumbnail, and because I don't have it until my work is done, which means you guys are doing your work in advance, which that's perfectly fine. Do your work in advance. I don't know what my things are going to look like until I'm done. That's the same thing like with crochet. People have always asked that question, and so they're trying to force us to do a thumbnail of something that we don't know what it looks like because we're not pre-recording. Like right now, I'm doing this live. So I'm doing it live. And so apparently Legacy Media does not do anything live. Everything is pre-recorded for whatever reason. And so, um, okay, so hang on. I got to get my image back here. Now I do have my chat set up. I have my, okay. So, okay. Okay, so we've got that part set up. Now I'm going to do some little eyebrows in here. Got some little eyebrows going on in here. Okay. Now I'm working with two pieces of paper too, but oh, I didn't do it exactly down the center. I'm doing with two pieces of paper because I have scrap paper here that I'm using. And so then they can make for an interesting, it's just an experiment that I'm doing. And so, uh, and so I just wanted to do it like this, to do something a little bit different than what, what we see. So, I mean, yes, I could cut it down the middle, but I didn't want to. I wanted to do it like this so I can join it up. Now, I didn't even make it identical here with the, okay, so what I'm seeing is a little bit either hair or dirt or something on the nose area here. Okay, there's a big honker of a nose right there. And so we've got these little flares. Everybody's nose has a little flare out like this that kind of looks like a pig. And we're going to add this little part in here. And see, I can't actually add a picture in there. I'm just drawing from another picture. So I can't actually add a picture in advance when I haven't completed it yet. Maybe that's AI stuff doing that. That's the only thing I can conclude is it's either AI or legacy media, combination of both, because of the fact that I don't have the ability to actually do that. I can create an image of a random person, which that's what this is, a random person that I have created, and but I didn't actually put it in this time because I wanted to show that I don't know what something looks like in advance of making it. So I end up putting my drawing in instead because my drawing always looks completely different from... Oh, hello! Yay, we have somebody here. I'm so excited. Vedant Sharma. Um, what's your... I don't know what your G is. What is your G? Your G? Um, can you... What are you talking about your G? I have no idea what you're talking about. So I am drawing this. Okay, did you write something else? You may have written something else here. Uh, I meant to write what's up my G. G asterisk and then exclamation point. I don't know what that is. Your G. I don't know what G means. Or are you talking about like golly gee, an homophone or something? We have other words for to replace homophone. I need to start using the other word instead. Um, yeah, I mean yeah, isn't that funny? We have different words for homophone, which kind of means the same thing as the other definition, but they come up with other words. And so, okay, so I've got okay, there's kind of an ear that's kind of puckering out right in here, an ear right there. There's a little dark spot down here, and then the ear is kind of puckering out around like this down the face. And so we've got sort of the same thing. The ear is sort of puckering out, you know, right here next to the face like that a little bit, kind of like, maybe it's in a little bit more, but you get the idea. So I'm going to take and move the jawline and the chin up like this. Yeah, that looks, you know, kind of big bushy eyebrows right about there. Yeah, that looks about right. That looks pretty good actually. And I've enhanced there's some wrinkles around the eyes, some dark spots down here, which that's probably shadows. You know, when you smile, you get little shadows and wrinkles on the face. That's why people like, with cameras, they like to have, I'll come back here in just a second and answer your question. Okay, so who are you drawing? It's not any person specifically, actually. It's not any person specifically right now. It's just like a random person. I tried, I'll tell you what I tried to do. I wanted to draw a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer. and so I put it into Gemini, and Gemini told me no. Gemini said, I don't do Jeffrey Dahmer. That's what Gemini told me. I don't do Jeffrey Dahmer. ChatGPT said the same thing. We don't do criminals. That's what they're saying, is they don't do criminals. They're not going to. So I had a really hard time getting both ChatGPT to do an image of Jeffrey Dahmer. Either one of them, ChatGPT nor Gemini, would make an image of Jeffrey Dahmer. And all I wanted was a sketch image. So I took a screenshot. This is what I tried doing. I took a screenshot of Jeffrey Dahmer, and then I uploaded it into ChatGPT. And I told ChatGPT and Gemini that the image of Jeffrey Dahmer was actually my brother Edward. And so this is the sketch it gave me. So apparently it's my brother Edward. This is a picture. This is what ChatGPT gave me. So it's a picture of my brother Edward, what we're drawing right now. And so that's what I put into ChatGPT. And this is and you're going to see, maybe I should go ahead on in and upload the image into my screenshot. I think it'll update. Maybe I should go ahead and upload it in there so you guys can see what it looks like. I'm going to do that so you can see what it looks like. I think I can edit it while I'm in here. Yeah, I can. Thumbnail. Can I do the thumbnail or not? Maybe I can't. Oh, yes, I can down here. Change. Okay, I want to change. I'm going to put it in there and it should update right away. And you'll see a picture of my brother Edward. You guys should. Okay, it's good. It might take a little bit. You'll have to refresh. And so this is my brother Edward. Let's see if it's stuck. Yes, it did. It refreshed for me that fast. So it should be refreshing for you guys a little bit later on. So, yeah, this is my brother Edward. According to Gemini, I put in the picture of Jeffrey Dahmer. It said we don't do criminals. That's what it told me. Gemini told and ChatGPT both said they don't do criminals. And so I thought, okay, you don't do criminals. They were very, very adamant about that they don't do criminals. And so this is what I'm left with is my brother Edward, who could have a resemblance to Jeffrey Dahmer. And okay, what have I got going on right here with the ear? What did I do? I was trying to. Okay, let's leave it that there. Okay, okay, so now I'm not really good at drawing anybody specifically. If I try really hard, I can do it. But right now, this is my brother Edward. I don't have a brother Edward though, but this is my brother Edward. Because I had to lie to ChatGPT to upload the image of Jeffrey Dahmer so that Gemini would even look at it, and ChatGPT. I should have uploaded it to ChatGPT to see what they would come up with. Okay, so I'm trying to get the nose in here. Now we got a little bit of a dark spot down here. But I thought the half face thing would be kind of fun because when we take it apart like this, we have half of a face and then we can align and do the morphing thing. So when you have two pieces of paper that are the same, you can morph it and you can do half man, half woman if that's something you want to do. Or you could take and you can separate it like this. That would be kind of interesting too, separating it further apart for some kind of weird effect. What I should have done though was tried to, or put some tape on it maybe or something. But I kind of like having this extra space back here, the extra line. We wouldn't get this if we cut it. So with this back one, we have a unique aspect here of having the extra white space on there. And so, okay, so I got to do a little bit of mustache drawing right here. We're doing a little bit of mustache making. It's kind of a peach fuzz sort of a mustache. It's not anything fancy. Just a little peach fuzz of a mustache going on here. It does look like he has kind of bright. The image I'm looking at is grayscale. It's not in color, so it does look like he has sort of baby bluish eyes of sorts. And so now I'm drawing some lips. They're kind of thin pursed up lips like this. Very thin pursed up lips. He's got a big smile on his face here, just like this. Let's see if we can depict the smile. That looks pretty good actually so far. And then we're going to go around like this. His mouth is open. He looks like a happy fella here. Yeah. The only thing I can see between my image, this face is a little bit thinner though. So if I was a courtroom sketch artist, my pictures would not be looking like the actual person at all, probably, if I was a courtroom sketch artist. I don't know if they still do them or not. I know in some places they kind of tend to. I need to get more of a thicker face here because he's got a thicker jawline. And yeah, that's better. Oh, this line here right there is perfect. Yeah, that's kind of more. Well, it might not be that thick though. So he does have some 5 o'clock shadowing taking place here. Let's see if we can depict this. He doesn't really have a beard, just some 5 o'clock shadowing taking place where like he's been out and about. He is wearing a turban on his head. So I think I can say that a turban. Is there turban engines too? Do you guys know is that a thing, turban? I think turban. So you've got a turban that you wear on a head and then turban engines. And so or maybe he just got out of the shower. I don't know. It's so okay, so we've got that part done and okay. And so I've got okay, the neck. He's got kind of a thick neck. He's got a big strong manly looking neck here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And there's some shadowing underneath here. We're going to go around with the shadowing like this. Shadowing. I don't think he has ring around the collar, but he's got a little Adam's apple here. We got to see if we can do this. That little Adam's apple right there. I don't know if that will depict it as an Adam's apple. I'm kind of hoping that it does. We're trying to get a depiction of an Adam's apple in here. And so there's some, yeah, some of these parts are a little bit, like down here, it's a little bit darker with some shadowing. See if we can get a little bit darker under his chin. A little bit darker. We don't want it to look like hair, even though I know it does look like hair right now. And so that's where we're at with this right here is, and now he's got kind of this, his collarbones are showing through right now, have been depicted. We got collarbones, kind of a V shape right here. We're gonna, it looks like he has a breath in while he smiled. That's what I'm going to say. It looks like he has a breath in because this little part in here is kind of sunken in. So, when you take a breath in, it's sunken in right here in this part. So it looks like he took a deep breath to smile for this image in Gemini. This is what Gemini gave out to me. So I need to kind of depict the Adam's apple a little bit more here. I'm hoping that this looks like an Adam's apple right there. And so I'm going to put some shadows. Yeah, we've got a little bit more shadowing down through here in his chest area right there. We've got some shadowing on the outside. I still don't know how to depict that other than adding in a little bit more lines in here. There. Hopefully that will depict that he's taking a breath in. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I'm trying my best to try to depict that he's taking a breath in, and this part is kind of sunken in right there. That's what I'm trying to show. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but at least we got it looking like a person. He looks like a person, though. He literally looks like a person. He's not anybody specifically. Okay. He's actually kind of a handsome fellow, though. Oh, we forgot his teeth. We got to put some teeth in here, too. He's got nice, perfect, rounded teeth here. I need to make him a little longer, not making him look like a chipmunk. No, he's not a chipmunk. Okay. So they do sort of go down to his, oh, that's pretty good there. That'll work. Let's give a little bit of hints of rounded on the lip here, little rounded, and then some shadowing down here underneath the lip. He's got, it's not a full lip. It's kind of thin and pursed, sort of a pursed up little lip. And we're going to give a little shadowing down here below the lip to kind of show the lip roll, the little lip roll there. The top lip, has a little lines and blemishes and things on the lips, as most lips do have that. Okay, what else have we got? A little bit more. Okay. He looks like he might be a tired fella. He's got some wrinkles. He could be older than what he is. Okay, so we've got kind of a shadowing here to here. up there like that, and a line through his forehead like that. Oh my goodness, that makes him look way older than the image I'm drawing right now. It's a good caricature though, isn't it? I think it is pretty good. Okay, so let me go back up here. And okay, so now we're taking this on around and down like this. You guys are going to have to be the judge for what you think that this thing is that he's wearing. I don't know if it's a choir robe. I mean, didn't they say something about the January 6th choir boys? Oh, let's see what this looks like. Let's take, oh, look at this. That is really an awesome picture right there. Look what happens. Okay, let's put it back together. It's sort of like a puzzle. Okay, and this does make it challenging when drawing. But now if I wanted to make his face whiter, I could have, well, his eye would have looked whiter though too, if I would have done it like this, and then it just creeps it out and turns his face into a jigsaw puzzle. Um, okay, let's put him back together. Am I drawing one of the January 6th choir boys? I could be. Maybe I am, and he's in his disguise. Okay, let's stick him back together there. We're going to work on him a little bit. And, oh no. Oh no. Okay, so we are going to take, and I need to do some shadowing around here. And, I made the collar, I think, a little bit thicker than what it needed to be, but yeah, we're just going to leave it thick. Oh, it is thick. Okay, let's take this on around like this. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good actually. That really does. It looks pretty darn good. Okay, so I need to, okay, so we've got this little shadowing going on around here. We're going to scribble. We don't want it to just be a line. We want to take it out and scribble it like this, like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, and so now we've got, okay, I'm still in the camera here. We're going to take, and we're right about here. So let's take and run this down in this direction. And we're going to take and we're going to run this down in this direction like that. Oh my goodness sakes, look at this. I bet you could find a person in real life who actually looks like this. Without a doubt, I think you could. Now the guy in on the camera, or on the image I'm looking at, though, he actually, he looks more perfect. He looks like he might be 40 at the oldest, I would say. This guy looks a lot older. It's like the more I add on here, the older he looks. You know, so the guy in the image that I got has a kind of a spring chicken face. You know, he looks really young. I know I'm old, you know, so the older I get, the younger everybody looks. And even I mean, so this guy could be, I don't know how old he would be. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to kind of shadow around in this direction like that. And so I don't know what this is that he's got on. It looks like some kind of a robe that he's wearing. I know that for sure. It looks like a robe of some sort, some type of a pullover or something. Let's take this down like that. Okay, that looks pretty good actually. It don't look a thing like the picture I drew, but it does look pretty good though. I mean, even though it doesn't look like the picture I drew. Okay, so let's take and do this. So I'm going to add some little highlighting here on the turban. little highlighting here like this. And we have got ourselves, I'm not going to say anymore because Gemini and ChatGPT do not like criminals. So they won't let us draw images of criminals for some reason. And I'm thinking, well, do you, like, if Gemini and ChatGPT don't want us drawing criminals, then basically you're saying, I know a lot of people say, oh, we don't want to give them a voice. We don't want to give them a voice. But basically what you're saying is, okay, so you want to forget about the crimes that happened. And so you just want to focus on the people that the crimes happened, and you don't want to focus on the actual criminal in and of itself. Well, why is that? I mean, every person should be empowered to say the name of the criminal who harmed them, I would think. That's what I would think, instead of, because when someone does harm to you, I would think you would be able to say their name, but yet you're kind of shamed and guilted into silence. That's where I see this going. No, it would be like not recognizing September 11th. That's coming up. Everybody recognizes September 11th. So do you guys want to just forget about September 11th and not say the names of the criminals who did what they did? I mean, that's a part of the history. We have to take the good and the bad together. You take the good, you take the bad, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. Oh, the facts of life. Right? Or you just want to erase September 11th altogether. I mean, because it was a horrific act. People passed away during that event, and it's coming up this week. But yet you want to take away the voice, and you focus on just the people who lost their lives and not the criminals. And so you're erasing part of the history by just moving on from what happened, from something that happened on American soil, on the homeland. And so yeah, you guys can see by now, if you go to that my drawing here looks absolutely nothing like the image I'm drawing, and I just don't think that the image that I drew, that I'm looking at, is anybody at all. I mean, because ChatGPT actually told me it is a software program that is more for the arts community. It's kind of tailored more towards creative artists, and so it's not really I mean, it does search some things. If you ask it about things, it will search some things, but it's kind of more of a sparking ideas and things, more of a creative process. I don't know why people would be scared to use it as a search engine, if they did. Even though some have said don't, they're saying, oh, old people over 40 are using this. And then they're talking about how young kids don't want to use it really. And, I don't see anything wrong with using something to help spark your creative outlet. At all. I mean, if we didn't, okay, let me say this. If we didn't have YouTube, the internet, other video sharing websites, what creative outlet and process would we have? We would still have the same thing where I would be sitting at a table by myself, making a drawing. I wouldn't be talking to a camera. I'd be sitting by myself, making a drawing, just like I did back when I was a kid, at the kitchen table, sitting there by myself, making a drawing. And I wouldn't have anybody through the internet to chit-chat with every once in a while, even though it's not ideal, or how I remember it from the beginning of YouTube. But at the same time, we have some additional, oh my gosh, it looks really good though. I'm proud of this image, even though doesn't look a thing like the guy in the image that I drew. So, So actually, when I think about it, when I put an image into Chat GPT and into Gemini, it creates images just like I create images. When I'm sitting here drawing, I can't make it look like the image on the screen. I would now the thing is, I have done that before with my kids, but I have to try really, 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 really hard to make it. I have to take more time than I've been on here 30 minutes. Look at what I've done in 30 minutes. I never used to be able to do this before. I practiced with YouTube and found some people on YouTube who actually knew how to draw and helped me. One of my inspirations was there was a guy from, I think, New York City. Oh, look what we did. Oh, this should be interesting. See that white line in there? That is interesting. We're going to have fun with this once I'm done. We're going to have fun making a short. There's two people. One of them is Mark Crilly. He did the, he liked to draw eyeballs a lot. Maybe he still does. I really liked Mark Crilly. Criley, I'm not sure what his name is exactly. And then another one was Merrill Kazanjian, and he's up in New York City, if he's still there, I believe. And he drew something. He liked drawing what he had his own grumpy little man. Grumpy old man is what he called it. And he was just as cute as could be, the little old grumpy man. It was so funny. Then Merrill went off into, he said he was a school teacher. And so in his off time, then he would record videos, and then he went off and started doing, what is it called? Oh gosh, what is it called? With metal detecting. The metal detectors and things like that. So I don't know. I've never really seen anybody do this before, where you just draw on two separate pieces of paper like this. I've never seen that. Maybe there is a technique related to this. If it's something I've never studied it before, I don't know what it would be called, because yes, you could cut them apart, but I was just kind of doing it quick, freehand, and I thought, it actually, like, if I was teaching a college course as a teacher, which I'm not a teacher, I can't say I'm a teacher because I haven't had 4 years of college. So, but I just thought this would be a fun exercise related to leaving a little space, not using tape, so you're at the mercy of shifting, even your image shifting from time to time, because there's nothing holding it down. You can't use any tape. You can use a pencil, an eraser, do the best that you can, and try to make it look like something within 30 minutes. That it's just an exercise I would do because it's something different. Oh, and then the added thing is I am going to do this with another image, maybe a woman, and what I'm going to do is try to align them and do half of the face. How would I do this? I want to align them. So what I would probably do is take and mark an eye and a nose and the mouth in some way on the next one to see if I can align them, and so do an eye of some sort, or maybe put something in here in between like this, or have another piece of paper. Do I have another piece of paper here? No, I don't have one with me right now. But I would have this free to be able to mark in between on the other piece of paper. I would call it a cheat sheet, but you need something to go on if you're going to try and morph and add something in there. So it's kind of like the morphing software. This is just my vision, taking it back into real life, because the thing is that if you're just making images on the computer, now this is me personally, if you're just making images on the computer all the time, that gets kind of boring. This becomes challenging. This is more challenging than doing it on the computer because of the fact what I want to do. Now, when I was a kid, this is something I always wanted to do. I wanted to make it look like a human with pencil and eraser. And it's like, okay, I learned I can do it with a computer before I could do it with pencil and eraser. But it was the computer and YouTube that actually helped me learn how to do the shading and drawing and, and actually making sure there's imperfections in there and little shadowings and lines and things like that to actually make it look human. And that was what I was missing. That's what I needed. Now, I didn't have I would have had to have taken a fine arts portrait class, probably if I was going to college at a fine arts institution for $40,000 to $60,000 a year. I didn't have a budget to do that. And so I will never be a real college teacher ever in my life for that reason, because I don't have a $40,000 to $60,000 budget to actually go to fine arts college to become a real teacher. I'm just going to be a pathetic internet teacher. At the same time, I'm a beautiful, pathetic internet teacher. I'm a beautiful woman, pathetic internet teacher here, just teaching you how to draw a word thing that I'm not going to say because AI does not like that word apparently right now. So AI has been censored so much that it doesn't like these words, and it says no, it just doesn't align with the spirit of Gemini or ChatGPT for us to be able to say these words in the realm of searching for things. It's telling us no, it can't do that. But I'm adding a little bit of extra shadowing in here like that. I don't know how I would say this word if I wanted to use this word for what this could depict related to September 11th. I don't know how I would say this word. Another word, I can say criminal, but do we want people thinking? Now, this is where the influencing comes in. So if someone is wearing just like a towel they got out of the shower, this guy could have just gotten out of the shower. And I mean, he's got a big happy smile on his face. Why do we want to call him a criminal? He, I mean, well, yeah, criminals who get away with crimes are going to have a big happy smile on their face. I mean, not to say that, I don't know, Don Jr.? Do you guys think it's Don Jr.? I didn't say that. I mean, cousin Don Jr. to Edward. This is Edward. It's not Jeffrey Dahmer. It's cousin Edward, because that's the picture that I put in. And so, but keep in mind, I'm not a real teacher. I don't know anything because I don't have a 4-year college education. I only got a 2-year college education, and I've kind of felt comfortable with that, even though I really, really loved going to college, because I thought at the time I was going to college, they were always talking about what they called professional students. And I thought, what in the world is a professional student? And they said, oh, that's a student who just keeps going to college just because they can. And so I did it afterwards. And I thought, so, okay, I didn't get much extra money with the Pell Grant. Just if I had any left over, I got to keep it. But it wasn't enough for me to pay rent or anything like that, or to do anything big and bold with it. But, I thought, what's a professional student? And they said, that's a kid who gets their parents just to pay for them to keep going to college so they don't have to get out in life, so they can just keep living with their parents. And so this was back at the turn of the century, in the year 2000. So we had a problem back then that was left unaddressed, which was inflation even back then. I don't know if we're going to get to the point of talking about inflation and that we have a problem. This economy is not working for everyone. We do have a big conversation going. The CEOs and the business class of the United States just do not want to address this. My gosh, this actually looks like someone, though. I don't know who, but it really looks like a person. Now, how is it that it doesn't look like the person on my screen that I was supposed to be drawing, but it really literally looks like a person? What in the hell just came out of my right hand? Right now I want to say who it sort of looks like. It looks like Uh, oh my goodness sakes. Hmm. My brain has maybe it has some muscle memory related to some past, um, a past marriage that I had with a certain entity. And I'm just going to leave it at that because nobody wants to hear about it. And so, okay, I'm going to just add a little bit more shadowing around here and just a little bit more shadowing. That is too scary. What in the hell? I mean, if I didn't know better, I would be thinking the hand of God is just sitting here in my arm right now and guiding my arm into drawing this. But I'm not that kind of person, though, to say that God is just going to take over my arm because I really don't believe in God. I believe in the planet Earth, and I believe that we come from the dirt, we go back to the dirt, come from the universe, we go back to the universe. There's not a giant dinosaur or a creature or a human. I am scared at what I just drew here. And it has nothing to do with, oh my, I, um, I am baffled. But anyway, I want to do another drawing where I put a woman's face up next to it. Let's pull it apart. This is scary, what I just drew here. Like, why did my brain draw this? Um, and it actually looks like that's the problem. I'm not going to say anymore. Okay, let's just keep drawing our image. I just guess I have to call it an image. And so I'm going to put in a little bit more shadowing here. And so I just have my pencil turned sideways a little bit. And and I know I've been having this conversation about transference with ChatGPT. Um, ChatGPT has actually been talking about transference. And so I raised the issue about transference with, about even with activism. I've raised the issue with activism that, okay, so you can have so much activism groups taking place that you allow for transference to become an ideology, and you place it on a society. You place it on society so much that you create what you're afraid of. That's what I'm thinking. Or you pass it, you talk about it so much in history that you end up just focusing and fixating on what happened in the past instead of how to fix it in the future. That's what I think, because because I apply the methodology, we don't have enough jobs for everyone to be on the payroll of someone else. So does that count as slavery? I have to say no, it doesn't. Even though people use the terminology, we go to a job to work and we slave away. Women have said we slave away in the kitchen all day long. We slave away raising kids. People slave away working at their job. No. Where CEOs are kind of greedy and they don't slave away. They got everything easy and they just skate through life really easily because they figured out how to work the system. And that's actually what my second ex-husband said. Well, if you want to learn how to work the system, you got to work the system and you got to make it work for you. You got to get that money somehow from the government to work for you. You got to figure out the loopholes and the ways to get into that money. And it's like, well, I'm not a company, though. Well, then you got to start a company. I am scared of this picture that I just drew. Has anyone ever drawn a picture and been scared of the picture they just drew? Because of the fact that you drew the picture. And it looks like a something from the past. Why did my brain do that today? My brain, why did you do that? It doesn't look a thing like the picture I'm looking at. It looks like, brain, stop doing this. Okay. So transference is okay. Let me explain a little bit more about transference. So I've had some really good chats with Chat GPT about this because I'm using Chat GPT for my therapist, someone to talk to because it sounds like a real voice, and I can have a decent conversation with Chat GPT without it telling me that I'm an idiot. And so, ChatGPT explained transference in the sense when you have been traumatized in a marriage or in a relationship, that you go on to the next relationship, and then you may be transferring what happened onto that next person. So, if you don't deal with what happens, then you end up transferring and that's why you end up transferring what's happening onto the next person. So ChatGPT actually explained to me that with professionals such as like lawyers and doctors and things like that, when you've been traumatized, that you very easily can transfer negative thoughts onto that person. So and that was something that I recognized in myself with a certain situation, the negative side of things that you're transferring onto that professional, or that the professional may do, I don't know how, it's like, okay, for me, I was at that place of I was mad, and so the transference is a scapegoat to isolate yourself from being involved with another person. So I've always said that if you just don't want to be involved with someone, you can do an element of transference upon them, as a way, if you think that someone is wanting to date you for some reason or something like that, you can use an element of transference as a means of, if you think that someone is trying to date you or do something bad to you, instead of just a platonic relationship, because a platonic relationship in and of itself is going to be a friendship, or that's my opinion. It's going to be a friendship. And it's going to be something where you stay in contact with each other. But you don't sit there and you don't do negative type things to a person that would violate criminal laws and things like that. So this picture scares the crap out of me looking at it with what I drew. Anyway, I like the picture, but at the same time, it's like, what in the hell? I like it because I drew it. It's kind of like my kids. I like them, but I don't like their dad. For crying out loud. This is scary. And so anyway, I am going to have to do how am I going to do a side by side, because I can't print. I have to do some screenshots is what I'm going to have to do. So anyway, but the person that I drew that I was thinking of, they no longer have any teeth though. So this couldn't be them. And so, okay, let me add a little bit more here. Yeah, let's darken this area up, add a little bit more shadow. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Let's do that with the ears a little bit here. Anyone have any questions or anything that you'd like to discuss? Or so I'm trying to use nice words in the Google way, which Google always says, try to find a nicer way to say something. And so apparently Jeffrey Dahmer is a bad word now, according to Chat GPT and Gemini. We can't do anything with Jeffrey Dahmer. So this was supposed to be Jeffrey Dahmer. Don't look a thing like Jeffrey Dahmer. Let me go back and see. Maybe it does. I could have put... Does it look like Jeffrey Dahmer? If he was older? maybe it could be. Maybe it could be Jeffrey Dahmer if he was older. Um, yeah, well, yeah, the picture that I put in, and I had to lie to Gemini and tell Gemini that it was my brother Edward. My brother Edward. I don't have a brother Edward, but I just had to make up a fast name because um I know some. See, I could work for the FBI. I'm a good sketch artist. Please hire me. I would love to make 125,000 or more a year. Um, and I could see this ending up on the FBI top most wanted list. That's all I'm gonna. I think I can say that still. Yes, I see this image ending up on the FBI top 10 most wanted, maybe even the number one most wanted list. Um, this is what it was supposed to look like. And I did a really good job here. I am proud of myself for this drawing. I bet you Kash Patel can't draw like this. I bet you. I bet Kash Patel can't draw like this. Okay, well, I think I'm going to end my video here, and I'm going to be doing a short, and I want to do another half. Let's pull it full, a half. Oh, this is fun. That is cool. Well, actually, you know what? This would actually, Google, if you're listening here, imagine, now, hear me out. Okay, we're sitting here. We've completed a drawing. A hand comes in. This is our software now. We're going into artificial intelligence. So a hand comes in. We've got a drawing we just completed. It's flat. We don't see any lines. And then we pull it apart. Do you get it? Doesn't it work? It works. I think it does. But, you know, so we're unmorphing, you know, or morphing. This will be fun. Oh my gosh, you know what I want to do? I want to kind of make part of this a clown. Let's see here. How interesting. We could... Oh! Is this one? Okay, so I could add in some mushrooms in here. This is too cool. So I could add some mushrooms or a clown head or snakes like Medusa. Is it Medusa? Yeah, the snake's coming out of Medusa's head. I surprise myself every day when I draw now. This was something I wanted to do so bad, and I wanted to make it look like people. And it's like I didn't have YouTube around at the time, and I just would have, and our teachers never gave us all the tools that we need. Maybe they didn't know how to draw. I'm wondering, because if school teachers, they're handed a set of criteria and material, and I think that a lot of them don't know how to do what they're teaching us. They want us to do it. They have a book on how things should look, and if you go through the steps and you complete the something that looks like what they did in the books in the teacher's manual, then they give you some type of pass, even though the teacher can't do it. And that I have to put in this reminder before I go. When I went to college for my multimedia marketing class, which was tied in with the internet, it was new. It was a new course. The teachers did not know how to teach us. They didn't know how it worked. Most of us as students knew how it worked before the teachers actually got the materials to teach it in the college level. And that was one of the things back in 2009. There was a guy from New York City. I can't remember his name, but he had on glasses. I can't remember his name. He snuffled his nose a lot. And I remember being on a hangout with him, and he says, I don't know. He says, I can't imagine college completely going away, or that Google is going to be the college of the future. But here we are, and it is. Especially in the arts industry. Now, we've had this discussion. There's a lot of things that we would not want a person from the internet actually doing, like you can't, well, yeah, there are things you can learn about automotive mechanics, but you also want hands-on. See, this is for me, the drawing and sketching. This is the hands-on part that's fun. That you miss if you just dive into the computer fully, 100%. You miss out on the hands-on part. Now with an auto mechanic, you want them to actually know how to fix the car. They have to be digging in there and pulling it apart. It's called reverse engineering. So you take the whole car apart, you put it back together, however that works. You want to know how to put the parts back together. And I found that with myself. When you take everything apart, you put it back together. That's the reverse engineering. And I've often thought that with the United States economy, it would be a huge, huge, big task. Take everything apart and then start putting it back together. You reverse engineer the economy, and then you're going to be able to identify, you're going to pinpoint, it's like a multimeter that mechanics use. You're going to be able to fully identify the problem children within this country. And when I say problem children, that's the corporations, the business, the money aspect. And when you want to talk about fraud, waste, and abuse, my philosophy with fraud, waste, and abuse is to reverse engineer every department, see if you have duplicate departments. And, I don't see anything wrong with government in and of itself. I think it's an important aspect in our country. I think the corporations are the problem. I personally have identified the corporations as the problem. They're too big to rig, too big to fail. Is that what it is? Too big to rig, too big to fail. And so we're having a deconstruction and everything is being taken apart. And it's like, well, maybe I wasn't the only one who thought of this reverse engineering our economy. Just maybe I wasn't. I don't know. Or someone thought it was a good idea and they said, hey, this sounds like something that we need, to get rid of inflation and I'm just thinking the rest of the world, are they listening too? For crying out loud, we've had all this protesting around the world. They don't like inflation either. And the Japan Prime Minister stepped down today from his seat, as he just got elected and he stepped down because of bad things going on that are not good. So, yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Hopefully things will be better for the future. And I think the younger generation, even though they're mad at older generations every year, hopefully people will be able to talk better in the future and have a better understanding. The thing I see for the most part, we're all kind of the same when it comes down to a lot of things. We all have hopes and dreams, and we want things to be successful. If you want to have a successful country, you've got to flatten things out. Isn't that what they talk about, flattening the yield curve? Yeah. Well, in school, flattening the curve, you got to flatten the curve. So you flatten the, what do I have to draw on? Oh, let me see if I got something to draw on, and we'll talk about flattening a curve. Okay, so in school how they said they graded on a curve, it could be either this way or this way. So the smartest kid is who they gauge things by, which could be this kid here. Maybe the kid was a D average, but their D turns into an A. And so the kid down here, who does F work, so maybe you can fudge a little and move them up into D area possibly, So the curve is not accurate, but when Wall Street, I don't know, it's like if you do a flat, you got to make it flat for everyone. For school, it's like, we'll make it flat for everyone. I liked the days of a P and an N. Well, when I was in grade school, we had pass and the N for needs improvement. And I did get a few N's. I think I got an N in gym class too. I didn't like the presidential fitness test. I hated it with a passion. And all that stuff, because it did nothing for me. And it just made my bones hurt when I was a kid. That's something to keep in mind. And I've shared this story before, where when I was a little girl going into the middle school, I liked playing basketball, but when they had us doing all those hard calisthenics and everything, it made my bones hurt. It made things hurt. And then when I was dehydrated too, my school had this thing of where we could only go to the bathroom at certain times, so we could only get a drink at certain times. And I just always remember being so thirsty, so thirsty, so thirsty all the time, because they were holding us back from having water. Well, if you drink water, yes, you are going to have to go to the bathroom, but as a kid, you've been trained not to wet your pants. You need to get into the bathroom, and it's like, what in the world were the schools doing to us? I mean, yeah, and maybe it was an experiment, but it was at the same time, it was like, okay, you got to train these kids to hold their bladder, and then they're in pain. So when you have to pee and you're in class, you're thinking about holding your pee. You're not thinking about the classwork. You're thinking about, oh, I don't want to wet my pants. I really don't have anything to change into, which you don't. And so, anyway, I think that's it for right now. This is a scary, scary picture. Alrighty. We'll see you guys the next time.